Hi everyone. Let's see if we can get everyone back into the stream. We're at about 400 people. Hi. Let's see how many people we can get back. Sorry about that. I just want to share this link out again with everybody so that we can get people to rejoin. We still have a long time to go. And I moved into the lounge, so I'm right next to the router in case my internet gets dipped again. And hopefully this will work. It's happening with all my live streams lately. I get going, and then at a specific point when I discuss specific things, this happens. Yeah, back. Awesome. I just want to make sure everyone else can get this as well. Send it out to the Telegram group because we're going to carry on till 10 o'clock. So there's going to be plenty time for all of you to still ask questions. So I just want to make sure that everyone gets the new link. Okay. So we have about 95 people on. We had just over 400 people in the previous stream. Yeah, we will carry on. I'm not going to be distracted or stopped by anything. We need to get used to many things happening, but it makes our resolve stronger, and we are succeeding. We're growing, and the plan is working in the face of everything thrown at us. And it will be, and it will get worse in future. We learn to circumnavigate that, ignore anything that's not important, make as if it doesn't exist. Because if it cannot influence sufficiently, you just ignore. And that is the best way to handle distractions, is to ignore them. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're all back in. We have 135 people. I just want to share to Telegram quickly and to the community to make sure that the entire channel community has got the link again. Earlier, I made sure that as many people as possible has the link, because I think it's very important that everyone has the link. So I'm just going to open the community tab again and just share that link there with everybody so we can get everyone that made the effort to come into the earlier stream to make sure that they get an opportunity to do that now as well. Okay, so this is part 2. I actually had to create a proper stream besides moving. And there's actually a lot of things that goes into loading a YouTube video. It's not something that just happens instantly. There's actually quite a few things that you need to do. Okay, let me just put out here, part 2, new link. And then I can share from there onto Telegram. So if you're not on the Telegram group, you can go channel, sorry. Go and join the official Double O Dash Telegram channel. You'll find the link below. You'll also find Odyssey. So if any of my videos are removed by the World Health Organization or local government, if they give YouTube instruction to remove it, that video, if it was uploaded, not a live stream, it will be in Odyssey. If you register there, I find it a really annoying platform, but at least it automatically loads all my videos to there. I don't have to do anything, and that helps a lot. Okay, so the link is there now. I just want to share it to my Telegram channel quickly, and then hopefully we can get most of the people back in, and then I'll carry on with the questions. Yeah, liking and sharing makes a big difference. We have 170 people back now. That's really awesome. Okay, part 2. I have it right here. It's actually popping up. Okay, so the first part of the video was already restricted, just so that you know. So I appealed it, and then immediately they unrestricted it. So I'm glad the first part can go out, and YouTube will show it to most other people. There's many people, there's probably like a gang of people that report my videos the moment that I put them out. And I've learned how to circumnavigate that, because the people in this community, they just share it so much that it overrides those algorithms. Let me just put your part 2. Okay, awesome. Now hopefully we can have most people coming to join us. So I put out a link on the official WDS Telegram channel, and I will always put links out over there. So if you join that Telegram channel, then at least you know in the description below this video, you'll find the link that during lives like this, if I get kicked out, even if you remember, I will put the link there so that you can come back in. Okay. So we almost have half of what we had on earlier. We have 195 people that have joined us. Thanks all for joining. If you're new to this channel and you're new to YouTube, you can subscribe to this channel. If you click the bell icon, you should get a notification if I post new videos. However, many people have told me, and this is why I don't even tell them to click the bell icon anymore, that that is removed continuously on this channel. So, yeah, I don't know how to circumnavigate that. I think most of the people on the channel are just used to clicking the bell icon or me sending out notifications. That is why it's so important that I do send out notifications if I restart a stream. The other night on the members chat, we had to restart the live stream 4 times. And the 4th time, we had it sorted. So that was really awesome. Okay, we have over 200 people in the stream. So I think we can, yeah, if you like the stream and you share it, you overcome all the bad algorithms that some people try and create. And what they try and do is put out, report the video right at the beginning, and then bots see to these reports. Okay, bots do. And every time I win an appeal and the videos are made unrestricted again by YouTube, and I win every single appeal, I've not lost an appeal in over a year. So when I win that appeal, those bots, the algorithms remember which bots it were or which people reported me. And then they start realizing, but these people their reports are fake. So eventually their input into the algorithm actually becomes weaker and weaker and weaker. And later the algorithm disregards them. So I go through phases where these people actually have to go and create new accounts. YouTube accounts, and this is the effort they'll go through. They are so obsessed with what I'm doing that they cannot stay away from watching my videos. I mean, it's really disturbing that people can be that way. Hopefully we'll convert them one day to being people that can be a part of the fight. It'll really be awesome. Because eventually, if people listen to you long enough, you might start to make sense, you know, especially those with lower intellect. You might have to repeat it a lot more. So, yeah. Okay, Francois says, Scott from Loving Life TV had something interesting happen the other night. And as far as I know, Scott is not even on YouTube. He's using his own internet channel. So he's using his own web browser or his own site, and therefore shouldn't be interfered with. These interruptions, you can literally interfere with a connection that a person's internet goes through. You can choke it. So intelligence can do this. There's many people that can do this. In IT, if you have access to the codes for that specific route, you can influence it. I mean, I saw back in the day, okay, maybe I shouldn't talk about this. Let me just briefly tell you what was possible back then. And this was in 2002, where you could see when someone went into their bank account, the route it took in the internet, literally, you could see it on a globe. And then you could see the service that it is passing through, and you could influence that transaction at any time. You could see pins, you could see everything. There is nothing secret about anything you do electronically at this stage. Well, I can't think of anything that is secret. There's no encryption or anything like that that keeps you private. Let's just make that clear. Okay. Well, I don't watch that channel. I don't have time to watch other channels. And the time that I spend, if I help people to get started until they get going themselves, then I won't be able to put that energy in, because I need to put my energy into what I need to do, know that I need to do as a person. And each and every individual needs to put all that effort into what they need to do for themselves to win the fight against a global and even universal evil that wants to take our freedom to choose away. It's really that simple. So the only aim is to take our freedom of choice away to a point where we cannot defend ourselves anymore against what is being done to us. I call that passing the point of no return. Once you pass the point of no return, and there's various things where there are points of no return, according to myself, that we won't be able to recover from. And we haven't passed those yet in South Africa. So in this country, we can still do a lot. And I think many places in the world will end up depending on us as South Africans to create that safe space for them. And, we should give a safe space to the people that want to fight for freedom, believe in freedom. That is not a time to say, jy kan nie hier wees nie, or you can't be with us. You will want those people to unite with you. And as long as you don't get subverted, if they believe in the real values, if you create a system where these people can never take control of our lives again through empowering every citizen, you empowering yourself, there's nothing you can do to touch it. No one can subvert it. No one can stop the work. And, I can say that over and over. Nobody with ill intent against our work can stop what we are doing, because you're not attacking Desmond Bernardo or Lauren Bernardo or any of the other people in this fight, because there's thousands of people in this fight. You're attacking every single one of them, and you can't get to every single one. That's not possible for you to do that. So the plan, the strategy is sound. It's a really sound strategy. Okay. Hi, Vinny, all the way from Scotland. Thanks for joining us. We have over 3,000 people outside of South Africa that is a part of this channel and this community. And maybe I should just quickly talk about that. This is not, for those of you that are new, this is not just the YouTube channel. I have actually seen and visited more than a quarter of the people on this channel. I've seen face to face. So the people become like family to you. I've been with them in meetings, sat there in the heat and the wind or whatever. And we've spent time together, shared time together. And that creates a bond that you can't throw away, a bond that is changing the country. And no amount of negativity can change that, because it's just the positive nature of what we are doing overpowers anything else. And love will always be stronger than all the evil intent in the world. I'll repeat that. Love will always be stronger than all the evil intent in the world. And it's really special to be part of this community. And it's really awesome to have the people overseas. AJ is also here. AJ is also overseas at the moment. He's been to my meetings, my long meetings. And AJ was in a wheelchair first, and later he walked. And I'm sure that people like that can relate to you, what those events are like, because it's not about me. It's about information, people sharing information. And it's really special. And we will have many meetings like that still. Like I said, we'll have a meeting in Cape Town. We still have to do the Eastern Cape. So we will let you know when that's going to happen. And hopefully that'll be pretty soon. I'm trying to see what government is doing now. And after they've made their changes, we can let rip and really go for it. Okay. Okay, Hazel says self-sufficiency in lieu of water shortages in many areas. How does... Okay, this is a double ODS channel. So I want to address any issues specific to or any questions to me. You can go to the Organic Humanity Movement's YouTube channel, and when there are discussions there, you can ask questions very specifically, and that is the best way to ask those questions. I'm an own member, just like many other people, and that's all I am, a member, and I absolutely believe in the plan, and we have to implement that plan. It's very important. Okay. Nella says, so grateful to have been part of this since your first meetings in Gauteng. It really has been life-changing. Nella, it's been life-changing for me too. Just remember, our family, I left everything behind. I stopped having an income for a year and a half. I've never done that before, or generating an income. The tour probably cost me personally, I would say, around 30,000 Rand. The people of the country donated a lot more than that to keep the tour going around the country. So it really wasn't a me tour that I sponsored. The country made it possible. People gave accommodation, they gave food. We were reliant on the people of the country. We weren't self-reliant during that tour. We were reliant on the people of the country. It was very unique and different for me, because I am a nuclear professional. And I mean, I earned big salaries in the past, make no mistake. And yes, it was a necessary experience because the information had to get out there to people face to face. It was important to get a critical mass of people that meet me, that say, I think this guy's a con, I think he's talking a lot of nonsense. Say, well, I actually want to listen to this, I'm interested in this. Or someone can say, wow, I really need to take note, this means something to me, and I need to start acting. And that is what the overall majority of people have done, and they've done so of their own fruition. Many of the people I haven't seen again, but that one experience was sufficient to make the difference. And there will be many more occasions like that in future. It's not going to stop. It has to increase, in fact. So, yeah, in future, we need to have meetings. I'm just going to dim this light a bit. We need to have meetings with thousands of people at a time. I think it's very important that that happens. You know, at the moment where we live, it's a very humble place where we live. It's something I had to get used to based on my past, and it's fine. It's easy for our family to move. Where we are located is strategically beautiful, really awesome. And just like you have to consider what makes you self-reliant, make sure you have food and water supply, and all the other things that you might need, I have to do the same for myself and for my family. I mean, I'm not exempt to all the things that I mention or speak about. Okay, let's see if there's more. Marina says, love will always be stronger than any evil intent in the world. Oh, I just said that. Yeah, I can't wait for the Eastern Cape Freedom SA event that was going to happen. It was going to happen in December, and there were very important reasons why it didn't happen. And it all has to do with people with evil intent, wanting to stop what we are doing. We have to make sure that we are safe. What a lot of these people don't understand is that many of the people that they think are their Mikeys are our Mikeys. Okay. And yeah, now you can go and bliksem each other internally. So, yes, I get, when they think that they infiltrate us, they often get it very, very wrong. So, I mean, I know exactly what they are doing on an ongoing basis. Okay, let me see. Someone said, we do appreciate it and you will be compensated. You know, creating the membership community has made it possible for me to carry on with the work. So I don't need more than this. My family just need to be able to survive. We've learned to do that for a whole year. It was a bit rough on the kids. I mean, we needed to buy them clothes and so on when we settled for the first time. And the last Freedom SA events, I flew to those events and we managed to get tickets for, it's much cheaper than it used to be when I was younger, in fact. So, but I mean, the travel accommodation, people normally give me accommodation, so that's free. So it's the plane tickets and maybe some food along the way. And often people even help you with that. So if people didn't do that out of their own, the success wouldn't be happening. So this is a massive team effort, and people that don't understand that will understand it if they come to the meetings, experience the togetherness that we have and our specialties. And I think it's infectious. So even someone with bad intent, when they come there, I mean, what are they going to do when you were these awesome people? What are you going to do to them? So no, you're all wrong for being awesome and loving and self-reliant and not wanting to hand your freedom over on a platter. Are you going to tell people that? You can't. The self-reliance group. So this is quite ironic. When I shut down the other Telegram groups, okay, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is very simple. When I shut down the other chat groups, I didn't know if Telegram would be a platform where you could do what we were doing. I was very quickly proven that it's not. For many reasons, people can hide their numbers. They can literally harvest entire lists of people's information from Telegram. And certain people with evil intent actually did that. And I will never in my name put people in a dangerous situation where they are being targeted because they are on one of the platforms that I've created. Now, YouTube doesn't allow that. And that is why YouTube is such an awesome platform. You are fully protected within the YouTube community because you can use a fake name if you want to. People can't just directly contact you on YouTube or try and source your number from them, making as if they are your friend. And meantime, they want to annihilate your business or anything about you because you support a cause. So it's important to know that the moment I saw that there were people trying to deliberately harvest lists of the people on those groups and many other things I don't want to mention now, I shut them down instantly without thinking twice. Okay. No person's safety is worth a Telegram group. So on this channel, all the information that you need to be self-reliant is already on this channel. To start and then from there to do your own research. If you follow the organic humanity movement, you will get all the other information that you need. And that's the last I'll say on that. So the self-reliance group, for you to become reliant on the self-reliance group goes against what the group is about. It was supposed to be a self-reliance resources group, a place where you go, find info that people have put there, and there was a lot of info there, and then that's it. What did it become? Something completely different. If I had to tell you what I believe you need for self-reliance, because my name is at the top of that group, Double O Des, it's there, okay? It would look completely different. Completely and utterly different. So the people that are actually interested, they will know where to find that information when the time comes. It's as simple as that. So besides safety, which was an immediate call I had to make and shut the group down, I was very surprised that the self-reliance and resources group could survive for as long as it did. And when businesses were being affected, I had to take action straight away. And I'm really sorry that some people that supported what we are doing, that your details, that you were literally followed and tracked onto your Facebook profiles, onto your websites, and then attacked, literally. These people will stop at nothing to stop us from what we are doing, okay? And I don't want to give them any more energy because what all of us are doing, they cannot stop. It's not possible, and that's why there has to be many of us, okay? Francois, it is a huge leap of faith. The first thing I have to tell you, you have to have the faith first, okay? I questioned whether this plan would work right at the beginning. I had lots of questions. Like I've told many people in the Double O Days meetings, it took me 2 months to wrap my head around it. And I first had to prove certain things before I could really fully invest my time and effort into it. And once I had proven the concepts, it's rock solid. It's rock solid. And even if you don't achieve certain goals by certain time frames, it doesn't matter because you've improved so many people's lives during that time. You've improved the country. You've improved communities. And that is better than sitting back thinking that something horrible is just going to happen to me and I'm going to do nothing about it. That's why self-reliance, independent living, being independent of government and corporate control is literally a mantra by which everyone should live. It should be a way of life that gives you joy and happiness. So when people say, but this and this and that's going to happen to the earth, we can't stop it. Must you now be miserable until something that you believe is going to happen happens? Or can you live a fulfilling life until that point? And that's why I said at the beginning of this live stream that you can even be happy and prepared to die. You can prepare yourself for that and be content with that. And there's many people in life that have to actually go through that process. People with terminal illnesses, etc. Think of the Jordanian pilot that was captured. And what happened to him? He had to resign himself to his fate, a brutal fate. And, you know, it's incredible what humans can do. This life is a fleeting moment in the universal perspective, a fleeting moment. And I'm not going to go into the detail that we do in the membership community where we have live chats every Thursday evening at 8 o'clock. Just remember that I look at everything from a universal perspective before I bring it down to earth, because if you look at things from the bottom up, you're not going to see anything. It's going to be clouded over completely. Okay. Thanks for that, Ruth. Okay. David, I also have been getting messages about deliveries waiting, also some selling, double glazing, etc. People be very, very careful. Maybe I should just make this clear. That people have been sent parcels from places that don't exist. People in this fight, okay? So people in the fight are being targeted. And it's not going to stop. The whole idea is to dishearten people. This happened during the French Revolution. It happened during the Bolshevik Revolution. What happens is fear is absolutely spread everywhere. And that is why you have to be prepared for the worst, for any eventuality, always. Always. And that is much broader than any prepper movement or any movement like that, or even secessionist movements, people that want to grab a piece of land somewhere and just stay there. It's far more profound. And because it's far more profound and we are striving towards a higher goal, the overall achievement is far greater and supersedes anything else because it's done out of love for every person in this country that is willing to change, that is willing to embrace freedom, that is willing to believe in freedom of choice, that people should have the right to choose how they want to live their lives. And that we need to change the governance system we are in to achieve that. And this is why direct elections are so important. It's such a simple concept. This is why we have to directly elect our leaders in a new electoral system with an improved constitution. We need an improved democracy. To improve our democracy, and you know, Lauren has spoken about this so much, that we need an improved democracy. What we have now is not a democracy. Around the world, we have maybe better systems, but it's not democracy. If you do not elect your leaders directly, if they don't campaign themselves for the funds from public that support them, when they are funded by corporations, it's not a democracy. It cannot be one. It's impossible. So you have to create a system where companies, large corporations cannot control a candidate. You make it illegal. You make sure that if any campaign funds or whatever is donated towards a person, it comes from their electorate, in other words, from their constituents. And you can put that in law. It's not that difficult. And that way, you cannot have large corporations controlling things. It's going to change the political landscape completely. And now, all of a sudden, you're going to sit with servants. I don't know many people that will actually volunteer to be in that system, because you'll be able to be kicked out just as easy as you get in. And once you have that, you have a better form of democracy. And once again, as someone said earlier in the comments, that democracy is not a perfect system. It's far from perfect, but it's much better than all the others. What did Winston Churchill say? It's the worst system except for all the others. And that's a very good way of putting it. So hopefully one day humanity will progress to the point, and I don't know how long that will take, where we don't need systems like that. I can't see it happening in my lifetime. Certainly not. And that is why you need a form of governance where you have representatives that you elect in a very different system where we improve our constitution and we improve the democracy. Well, it's not a democracy that we have now. It's all but a democracy. It's a multi-party system. So for them to call that a democracy is an oxymoron, really is. So I think there's many of you that have experienced the same thing. I'm glad you're blocking the people that are trying to get hold of you. So what I can tell you is that people actually went and harvested entire lists on Telegram, bragged about it. These people are really evil. And to think that they believe they were protecting the public before in the jobs that they did. These people are psychotic and they have huge mental issues. And that is fine. There are ways of dealing with that legally within the current constitution and the system. Because there's many laws that we can still use to protect people from things like that. But you need to be vigilant. So please be vigilant. YouTube is the safest platform at the moment for any of you. Even if you have your full name, you're in the comments. No one can get hold of you by using that. So you are safe and protected here. They might go and search you on Facebook. Then they need to find the actual you. Because if your picture's not there, they can't find you. And so I don't answer Facebook Messenger, anything when I'm on a PC. I don't have Facebook Messenger on my phone. I don't use things like that. You have to protect yourself as much as you can. Okay. And I will certainly look out for you. If I think anything is compromising your safety, I will just stop it instantly. So in future, we will have the Telegram official channel that someone that understands technology, IT, very, very well. He created that official Telegram channel, and I really want to thank him for what he has done up until now. And he created it in a way that people can't be subverted. So that is really wonderful. You'll be safe there. And then you'll be able to get any communication from me. I don't trust Facebook with regards to that. Most of my Facebook posts is not being shown to anybody because, you know, call it shadow banning, call it what you want. It's definitely happening to me. Jean, absolutely. Anyone that wants, but how direct elections happen is very important. And hopefully many organizations will get behind this. Even civic organizations, community groups, flip, man, rugby clubs, tennis clubs, I don't care. Any civil community should get behind us directly electing our leaders. Now, if you don't do it in a new political system, it's a waste of time. It'll be a full subversion. It'll be completely cooped from the beginning. Okay, it's going to be a coup. It's going to be a coup if you allow it to be done incorrectly. So many people, Jean, they are preaching direct elections, but it's all but what I want. In fact, if you implement, for instance, what Musi Mamani wants or Herman Mashaba, this is not direct elections. It's not. It's a subversion, completely and utterly. Now, they might change their minds and they might do things differently in future. And I really hope that they do, but I doubt it because there's real power for them and they want power. They don't want to give power away. They want to collect it. And I'm speaking from experience now. So many other people like Tuli Maronsela, all these people the public revere, they are supporting systems that is suppressive. Systems that are taking our freedom to be democratic or be in a democratic system away. And no, democracy is not just majority rules. It doesn't work that way. How you set up the system is crucial. And in future, I'm not going to deal with that on this channel. You can watch the other channels that deals with it, how the plan will be implemented. Okay. Kathy says, I often get phone calls on my landline and the person on the other side doesn't talk and then puts the phone down. Kathy, I'm so sorry that that's happening to you. It's a pity. There's no way of blocking that. That's why I'm not on a landline. With a cell phone at the moment, You can block numbers. There's many options for you on a cell phone, even if it's not a smartphone. Okay. Oh, Ruth is saying 100 people watching could still recognize that they are benefiting and could like the video. Absolutely. These videos, liking them and sharing the video makes a huge difference. It helps to get it to a lot more people out there. And yes, let's get to more questions. We still have 15 minutes left. So, and I'll make up a bit of time for the time we lost earlier. Okay. Let's see what else we have. T-Man, hi. Many of these other people are career politicians. They will not allow their careers to be affected by true direct elections. Very well put, T-Man. You know it. Carrie asks, is the Russia-Ukraine threat of imminent war a distraction? Absolutely. It's a complete distraction. There's no ways Russia is going to go into full-out war with the US. Arno, do you want a phone call? Arno says, I haven't received any phone calls, luckily. Yeah, it's not nice when something like that happens. And the first thing you need to know is that we have been so blessed during this entire time that we've done what we have done. And people that support and speak out for the plan must expect to face other people attacking them. It's going to happen. I expected it from the very beginning. I've had people say the most horrific things about me, and they're absolutely free to do so. It doesn't bother me in the least. They can say about me whatever they want. I have a problem when police physically and brutally attack my wife and target her. I have a huge problem with that, completely unprovoked. And when other people that claim that they were in the police and good police and all the rest condone things like that. These people are psychopaths. And I think there's many psychopaths in the South African police force. That is why you see action like that. No normal human would do something like what happened on that day. And normally I would not even speak about an event like that if it happened to me. You won't even know it happened, okay, at all. But the moment it happens to women and children, people need to know that there's real intent, that they're trying to send a message, and that there are sick people out there condoning this. Frita, I get several phone calls every day, never answer. Check numbers, don't know them, and delete. No stress. That's it. That's the best. Just don't stress about it. Michael, are we heading for digital passports and codes for international? Yes, we absolutely are. That's unfortunately, we're not going to get away from that. Okay, Ilka, they're trying to open up borders and merge countries in different continents, then merge all the continents, New World Order. Ilka, absolutely spot on. You know, I spoke about this at length in my Double Days meetings. A lot of that content without the detail, the deep detail, is already on the channel. If you go and watch the Moments in Time and Question Everything series, you will get that information. If you've watched it a long time ago, go and watch it again. There's some people that have told me they've binge watched it like 6 times to actually understand what I'm saying and to tie it in with what I'm saying now. So a lot of people that have watched those videos, people that have been to my meetings, I give information in videos to those people that new people won't understand necessarily. So I'm sorry about that. It's the only way that I can communicate certain things. So I use YouTube as a tool to transfer information across the country, and I can do it rather quickly. So Michael, unfortunately, absolutely, it's undeniable it will happen. We can obviously change things in the country, and then we can decide what we want to do as citizens once we become citizens. Because at the moment, most of us behave like subjects. Orel asked, do you think Russia will invade Ukraine? Quite scary what's happening in the Middle East. It's very possible. So I'm not saying that Russia won't invade Ukraine. What people are not hearing is what Vladimir Putin is saying. Now, I'm not a Putin supporter. I'm not a Biden supporter, heaven forbid. I don't support any of these people. I look at the facts on the ground, and then I give you the information. Putin will tell you that the US has built up high-tech missile technology on their borders. This is why they are on the Ukraine border. Okay, so it happened the other way around, and a lot of people don't comprehend or understand what this means. So they believe they're doing this in self-defense, in national interest self-defense. So when you look at the Rothschilds and how they plan things on a global scale, countries is just a mere toy that they can move around. Like my boys made the video about the dinosaurs and all the tanks and things. And the dinosaurs then creamed the tanks, that was for sure. And then they, Tweety Bird, went and took all the military vehicles for themselves. That is basically what the Rothschilds do. They can play with military as if it's a toy. To them, they don't need money. They need power to influence things, to get to a new world order that will usher in a one world government. If you don't create a new order, a one world government won't be a possibility. And to get to that one world government, you need to make sure that the governments of countries are absolutely frowned upon by their citizens, that the citizens are furious with them, and that they will rise up and rebel against those governments. You will start seeing this in many places around the world. So they are running many experiments right now. See how you need to push people to see how people respond. Then you see how the rest of the world respond to what's happening, for instance, in Kazakhstan or wherever, in other countries. You check, okay, how will people respond to this? How will the media respond to this? Then they do polls amongst the people in the rest of the world to see how they feel because of this. So once you know the big picture of what's happening on a global scale, you will see how the Council of 13 Families, they're just sitting back, looking at this slot, next chess move. It's very easy. And they control the committee of 300. It's got 300 idiots, of which my father was one of them. Luckily, he realized the error of his ways and literally get those people to do what they think is to save humanity and save the earth. So those people are fighting hand, tooth, and nail, and many of them, not all, don't know that they are going to take all freedom away. They actually get to believe that doing all these things they're doing now is wonderful for humanity. That's how you're going to save humanity. Anyway, I don't want to speak about them anymore. Giving them energy is a bad thing. I'll rather speak about the hills and plants and bees and things like that, things in nature. Okay, there was a comment by someone that looked interesting. I'm not going to speak about this, people. It's one of the biggest distractions ever. There's been so many more comments. Will digital passes be required for provincial travel? Anything is possible, Amy. I don't know how far they will push it. They will have to see. Remember, our country can very quickly turn nasty when you force certain things on the people. Now, even President Cyril Ramaphosa knows this. So the day they want disruption to be caused, then they can force something like that and use it as a tool. But at this stage, that is not the plan. I can tell you that now. There is no imminent big thing that's going to happen. In fact, we'll probably go into a long lull at the moment, and we are already being prepared via the mainstream media for that. Hazel, I do feel that a greater majority of people are seeing light at the end of the tunnel for positive change. I feel positive and proud of our citizens. So do I, Hazel. You know, the more I interact with people, the problems you encounter are tiny. It's absolutely minuscule compared to the overwhelming awesomeness of the South African people. And this is why that faith was so important. And with that faith came research, asking people questions, and then came masses of hope, not just hope, knowing that we will succeed. So in South Africa, we will have a success story. And I don't have to go into the details of why I know we'll have a success story here. All I know is that this is a very special country. If you have family overseas, ask them to come back here. Come back to South Africa, because in many other places around the world, I'm not sure that they've done enough to stop those points of no return being crossed, those lines being crossed, those lines in the sand. And here we are still in charge of all of those things. The people of this country is beautiful, man. If people think, for instance, that fifth generation technology is a problem and that fiber causes it, the people are literally going to rip up the entire fiber net overnight. That is South Africa for you. Hannah is asking, what are the implications for this Health Act? You know, I don't get distracted by things like that. Like I said, I look at the universal perspective, and then I go to a global perspective, and then I look at South Africa and what we need to do here. I don't get distracted by what the others are doing here. We are trying to replace them and making them irrelevant. So I think that's the best answer I can give you, Hannah, is that we're trying to make this Health Act irrelevant by removing the people that created it. And that is the only thing we should focus on. Because if you cannot influence that right now, because you're not in parliament, you can't make a vote as an MP, then change the system that doesn't enable you to do that. It's not rocket science. It's actually quite a simple concept. And this is what we are doing. So I'm asking you to become as self-reliant as possible. And you can go and watch the Organic Humanity Movement. You can go watch the YouTube channel and make sure that the path to freedom is clear. Because a lot of people say they believe in freedom. But the path to freedom is more important than the belief in freedom. I will say that over and over and over again. The path to freedom is more important than the belief in freedom. Okay, so you can believe in freedom all you want. If you don't know how to get there, step aside. Because we need people that are willing to act to get that freedom. You need to deserve it. And freedom doesn't come without responsibility. You know, a person can use the word freedom willy-nilly. Freedom comes with responsibility and consequences for the fact that you're exercising your freedom. That is how life is. That will never go away. Never, ever. You search for a video on Mandela. Jean, I actually spoke about Mandela in detail in my Double O Days meetings. And the information I give there, I think is the most important. And I will not dare put it on YouTube. Ruth, I doubt the well-armed taxi industry would let that happen. Well, there's so many different factions and groups in this country that can stop anything dead in its tracks. So there's many organizations in South Africa that can supersede government instantly. The military, the police, anything. Now, the taxi industry is one of those. They actually run the country. They can do whatever they want. So whatever the taxi bosses, when you can organize all the taxis in the country to do something, you can bring the country to a standstill overnight. So they actually have more power than our government. There you have it. It's just plain and simple. Graham says, order out of chaos. Okay, let me get some more questions. Beata says, becoming decentralized is key. Courtney says, magnanimous. Yeah, the path to freedom is more important than the belief in freedom. Absolutely. Magnanimous. Oh, I didn't know that. Who is magnanimous? Where do we put our money instead of the bank? Shall we create our own internet? MLB, creating your own internet that you can use is not a bad idea. It's important to have a strategy to communicate face-to-face as well. But I don't want to go into that detail here. There's other places where we discuss that detail. Okay, freeing the mind starts with the choice and courage to unlearn, then relearn, and learn a lot. I like that, Courtney. Absolutely. That's the one thing that I try to do in my youth, is read an immense amount of information. Not necessarily believe that information, but have it on board as information. I read so much, and then I experienced so much. And I was privileged to experience certain things, not financially, positions I was put into. You know, when we went to the Air Force base at Valhalla for the first time, we were dumped there. That night we were sitting outside on an ice cold field. But then we went into this massive hall. We hadn't eaten any food, and we had to go and write these psychometric tests. And after that, out of the 3,000 people that were taken into the base, 2 of us were picked to go to the Test Flight and Development Center. So I suppose my psychometric test had something to do with it. So I had a bit of an input. But out of that, experiences occurred where I got to be in close proximity to the people that run this country. And they were being given instructions by Margaret Thatcher. You know, for me to stand there as a 19-year-old and hear Anton Rupert and Harry Oppenheimer take instructions from Margaret Thatcher and discuss the transition in 1994, how it had to happen financially, how it had to happen socially and politically, was a massive learning curve for me. Because to see F.W. de Klerk, who was the president at the time, not even in the discussion, completely neglected at that table, sitting on the opposite side of Margaret Thatcher, was a huge learning curve for me. Because I could see that F.W. de Klerk was nothing more than an instrument to make certain things happen. And I don't know how they looked after him. And he might have thought it was for the greater good. But what they were discussing there had nothing to do with the people and their freedom. It had to do with people and population control. Everything they discussed had to do with people and population control. How do we control what the people do? This is what they were discussing. So, yeah, I don't know why I got or found myself in that situation, but I did. And yeah, I suppose it helped me to put many things together. Then working in the nuclear industry as a nuclear professional, becoming a licensed reactor operator, running nuclear reactors, getting to know how the national power grid works, actually being there during the first event where we lost all offsite power due to grid instability. I could see actually what happens to a grid that has collapsed. I was there in the control room. So other people, Chris Yelland and all these people, when they speak from a sensationalist and an editorial viewpoint. They cannot speak from an experienced viewpoint because they don't know what they're talking about. I actually do. I am actually that person that was there, that saw the fluctuations in the voltage all over the grid, that actually had to live with an unstable 400 kilovolt grid on a night when we lost the Northern Cape, the Western Cape, and the entire Eastern Cape. Half of the country gone. And the people woke up in the morning not knowing what happened because most of it was restored by then. There you have it. So I get really annoyed. You know, it's not normal for someone like me that's been trained as highly as I have to be on social media and even entertain attacks from idiots, people that don't know what they're talking about. Putting myself out there for ridicule, I mean, is not commensurate with what I'm used to. And I chose to do that for one simple reason, a future for my kids. Because if we don't achieve success, the future for my kids is not the one I want for them. Okay, I see people are talking about money and banks and things like that. Gold and silver isn't king. It's not true. You can't eat gold or silver. You can't drink it. You can't get yourself sheltered under it. The 5 things you need for survival is the most important. Okay. And if you want to invest in anything, invest in those 5 things. This is my advice to you. First thing, invest in water. Next, invest in food. Next, invest in shelter. Next, invest in energy. And lastly, invest in something to keep you sane so that you don't lose your mind in difficult times. So invest in those 5 things. If you invest in anything else, and you haven't invested in the 5 things, you're a fool. That's all I can tell you. I can't help you more than that. And the people that heed what I'm saying will reap the benefits of that. And this is not because some cataclysmic event is going to happen at all. This has got nothing to do with prepping. This has got to do with the self-reliance lifestyle. It will give you options that you cannot even comprehend right now. In the near future, There's already people that have benefited from this advice. Tammy says, hi, Tammy. People forget that professional human behaviorists are employed by the government. So when things hits the news, think what is it that they want us to feel or do. Government is like an advertising company. Tammy, that is very well put. Thank you for that. Remember, on the Ministerial Advisory Committee, a lot of the medical people were chucked out and they got behavioral specialists. And they announced this. It's not like they were secretly doing this, actually coming to the MAC and advise government on how to get us to behave a certain way. Now, once that happens, you need to take note. And, you know, this Thursday, I'm going to be telling the members of this channel in our 8 o'clock chat things about human behavior and our mind that's going to blow your socks off. And once we discuss that, I will give you homework beforehand. I'll post a video that you can watch, and I'll post that after this live stream. And once you watch that, you will realize how easily we can be conned through our own minds. And let me just leave it at that. So we have another 30 minutes to go. This has really been awesome. Frita, many businesses are not allowed to pay cash salaries. This comes from financial auditors. We were all forced to open bank accounts in 2021. If the banks freeze, how can we access our monies? Well, once it's put into the bank account, you can withdraw it if you want. That's while it still has value and it's still available as legal tender. In other words, that businesses will accept it. There's already certain places, like at certain sandparks offices, they won't accept cash. And to me, it's criminal that businesses are taking your tax money beforehand and handing it to government. That's nonsense. You should get paid the full amount, and then you should pay the tax that you believe that you need to pay. Because under our constitution and laws, you are allowed to withhold tax if you do not believe that the government is doing a proper job. And there's very specific circumstances laid out in our laws currently that allows you to withhold tax. Now, when a company deducts your tax beforehand, they are violating the right that you have to that. And I can't wait for a case to actually go to our High Court and to the Concord. So any of you watching, if there's any lawyers that's worth their salt, take this to the High Court. The fact that people say the tax is deducted before their full salary is paid into their account, so they only get what's left. And so they cannot apply that law. They cannot apply that law. And it's illegal. Now, what happens is most of the companies they work for make them sign a contract to say that they will have their tax deducted beforehand. That contract is illegal. You can challenge it in court, and no company can force you to do that. Okay. So it's definitely something that needs to be challenged in court. And it should become commonplace that if you don't believe your tax money is used properly, that those avenues are followed. And many places have started doing that, where people have withheld their tax and they actually pay it into a trust fund that's administered. And then they actually provide services in their own area. It's absolutely allowed. People should do it everywhere. I don't know why people are stopping. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. People are too afraid of the unknown, and that is fine. But the moment you realize that you can actually do something significant in your area, maybe stand together, start meeting with people, have community meetings and discuss withholding tax legally and actually start spending that tax in your area. Cornay says investing in self-reliance inevitably helps developing an independent mindset, willing and comfortable to question everything. Cornay, beautifully said. That is so important, that what you cultivate because of a self-reliance mindset is more important than the self-reliance itself. It's more important than the water and the food. The water and food is important. The things that will save you is the discipline that you've developed. I've asked people to become fit. I'm losing weight right now. I'm doing a lot of walking every single day. I'm working hard, okay? And I'm losing weight. I'm getting more fit. I'm encouraging all of you to become physically fit in this year. Become physically fit in this year. Okay. Make that change in your life. And it's for very much the same reasons that Corne mentions now. Once you have that discipline, you will be more disciplined to become self-reliant. You will be more clear of mind to understand what I'm actually saying. And that is going to help a lot. Now, you don't have to believe in what I say. I always tell people, things will happen to you that'll force you to make these changes. And if you do it beforehand, it's not going to be as bad. So self-reliance is a way of life. Becoming independent of government and corporate control doesn't mean that corporations don't exist and governments don't exist. When we say that we are going to improve the constitution, it doesn't mean that we are against a constitution. It means we're going to improve the constitution. When we say that we want to change the electoral system and the governance system, it means changing the system. It doesn't mean removing the system. We need to improve it. And then from there, once you've got a new system, you can develop to a point where you need almost no governance. But you need to develop to that point, and it can take time. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. Ilka says, thinking maybe chop up your grocery Pick n Pay Checkers cards. All those cards are to track and monitor what you purchase. It's not to give you discount. There's nothing for free, people. If you get discount for anything, you are handing over something far more valuable. Okay, that information is sold to companies all over the world, to product suppliers. They are saying how we advertise. How does that influence people's behavior? They can see the effectiveness of advertising. It's AI at work at best. And yes, the discount you can get at Checkers and Pick n Pay and so on can be huge with these cards. It is not free. It will never be free. You are paying with vital information about you, and a profile is being built up around your lifestyle. Okay, Hazel says, please clarify 5 options on permanent property, then same 5 options for on the move if necessary. Wow, this is not a platform to discuss that. That needs to be done in detail. Not here with, this is an open forum. Hazel, Beata, put a proper roof over your head, get water storage, gas or others, start growing veggies and herbs. Not easy, it's a process. Absolutely, Beata. And that process needs to start. Because if you start that process now, you will be able to do the other things you'll need to do in future better, especially if you become fit. Yes, Arno, absolutely true. Nothing is free. They want to know everything about you. But that has been happening for a long time. Aisha says, nearly 2 months clean of all stimulants, inspired the double days. 8 beep session, still miss wake and bake, but hanging in there. Congratulations, Aisha. It takes discipline. It's not easy. And, you know, in our family, we are changing how we are eating continuously. You know, we have a normal trash bin and we have a recycle bin. And it's incredible to see how much recycled material we were producing in the past, or recyclable material. The items that is recyclable was by far the majority. So we have to change the way we live. And because us as a family, we're never going to be able to just settle for a long time in one place. It is difficult to get into a structure. We're only starting to get structured now. So the tour was very disruptive with regards to that, but immensely fruitful and immensely necessary. And somehow I coped during that time. I still don't know how I coped then. Sometimes I had 3 meetings a day. Sometimes I had 2 long meetings a day. That's a lot of talking. I don't know how my throat coped, but it did. Okay, Debbie L says, I'm proud to say I've stopped drinking Coke and eating chocolate, so I'm fit. Yes, Arno, I also got that. Someone sent that to me, a wind pump using half-oil drums using the wind. It's probably a small little generator alternator on there, so it won't generate much. But I hope it lasts long. And, you know, I don't know how many kilowatts you can generate like that. It'll be interesting to see how efficient it actually is. Yes, Beata, depends on how much chocolate. Beata, maybe I should interview you and we can speak about food and eating. I don't know if you'll be willing to do something like that. How things influence patients, it might be an idea. Ruth says dark chocolate is best. Okay, we mustn't divert into a chocolate discussion, huh? Good if you could pass the blame buck. Corne, cutting out sugar, best decision ever following Wim Hof. Ice cold showers method, second best. I once went to a place where I got the knife treatment. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. I had to get into this hot thing and then I got into a cold thing. I nearly freaking died. It wasn't pleasant. I probably had heart palpitations or something. So I really don't know how good it was for me. And then I went, oh yes, it was a Stellenbosch Hydro. I mean, this was 17, 18 years ago. And then this dude massaged me. I thought he was killing me. It wasn't a pleasant moment during that entire exercise. So yeah, it's really, it definitely wakes you up. I wake myself up with cold water, but I mean, our chat is not here to discuss habits with regards to torturing our bodies. Sugar is toxic. Okay, there we have Dr. Beata Setzer saying sugar is toxic. Us as a family, we've always tried to eat healthy meals all the time. Lauren made a stunning vegetable bake this evening. She's a really good cook, and I'm really privileged to have her as my wife. We are polar opposites, and yet we work together beautifully. I don't know how she tolerates me, this Virgo me, but she does. I think it's more tolerate than anything else. We have to achieve so much in such a short space of time. And, you know, Lauren and I can't achieve things for you. People have to make these things happen in their own lives. Hi, Ungas, you arrived late. Did you share your take on the Russia-America situation? I did. Yeah, proxy war, absolutely, Ungas. And what I said is that, you know, Russia could invade Ukraine. There's going to be no nuclear war or anything like that breaking out. It's the Rothschilds sitting where their chessboard, messing people around and seeing how they respond to news. That's all that's happening. Okay, my 5 pence, Leon at Double Odes. Do you think that the license card machine packed up to be lined with a common pass? I don't have specific information on that at all. I cannot believe that there's one machine to produce all the license cards in a country. Twak story, man. I don't fall for nonsense like that. It's the same as saying that the guy walked around in Parliament for 30 hours. Why would you want to put that in the media? It's a national key point. You're not even allowed to put any information like that out there. It's illegal. It's a national key point. Just like Koeberg Nuclear Power Station. I'm not going to talk out about what happens there. It's illegal to do so. So when you see all these things coming out of there, there's a massive psyop on the go at the moment. And it's such a farce. I mean, if people actually can't see the difference, I can't help them at this stage. Hopefully in future, they'll look back and they'll say, well, it was obvious that this was all a lot of twat. So like I said before, the person is completely innocent or he actually worked for government as an agent. It's one of the two. That's it. Okay. Elaine, the tour was horrible, especially when we were on the road. Because you stop at garages. I got so sick of garage food. It was wonderful, and we didn't get enough funds in to eat out. We couldn't sit at a Wimpy, which is not necessarily the best food, or any place like that at all. So we just bought things fast so we can drive on. Often we had to rush to get to the next meeting. Often we didn't have time to stop and just drink water or something. Twice I arrived late for meetings. So it was rough. It was really, really rough on our family. I'm glad that that is over, but I'm so glad with what we achieved. A lot was achieved in that time. And the people that didn't experience that, I think at some stage I need to interview people that came to these meetings and make snippets, put them together of what they took from the meetings and maybe make a compilation and put it out on YouTube. I think that'll be important for us to just remember those times. Because remember, I didn't advertise it on social media. We took no pictures. Everyone was private and safe. And that is how we need to do everything that we do. Any machine can be fixed. Absolutely. Update on Eskom. Yeah, media is a propaganda machine. I'll get to Eskom just now. What's with the fire at Waterkloof Base? A lot of fires. Well, they claim that a fuel pump burst. Those are high pressure pumps, very volatile fuel. I don't know what would have ignited the fuel. So that's the only thing that needs to be determined. So you can have a fuel pump bursting. You shouldn't just get ignition just like that. So I don't know what caused that. With regards to Eskom, so at the moment, Koeberg Unit 2 was shut down last week, Tuesday, not the Monday, at 3:30 in the morning. The breaker was opened and the outage started on Unit 2. And so far, so good. There's so many people on site there doing work. And it's a normal maintenance outage. So everything that they are doing there is things that they need to do as part of normal maintenance. And there's a few things that they are doing that they could use to apply for life extension. So it's a normal maintenance outage. We treat it as a normal maintenance outage. And when they apply for the life extension of the plant, it depends on the NNR. So no one knows what's going to happen with regards to that. But many of the things they're doing now could help with that in future. And we'll see what happens. There's never been such a massive onslaught on Koeberg to shut down. And it's very deliberate. And you would have seen the person that organizes protests against Koeberg kicked out of the NNR board. They should have never put him there. Why do you put a person that wants to put Koeberg under jeopardy on the board of the National Nuclear Regulator? It's absolute madness. Put someone like Chris Yelland or whatever else that the public knows that puts his face out there. Put someone like Chris Yelland on that board. That would be fair. I would encourage something like that. Or even, because he's not pro-nuclear, you could even put Ted Blom there. There's many people you can put there that has knowledge so they can actually contribute and represent the public. In other words, they have no vested interest in the nuclear power station itself. That's what they should do. But to have someone that organizes protests and is trying to actively subvert, try and find people inside the power station to talk nonsense, people that don't even know what they're doing. You know, Carte Blanche contacted me a while back. The guy's name was Neil, and he said he needed to do an insert on Koeberg. I was in KwaZulu-Natal on tour at the time. And I said to Neil, I'm not going to go on Carte Blanche and speak about Koeberg because you already have a script. You already know what you want the outcome to be. So the only reason why you want to question me is to find anything you can use against Koeberg. Because Carte Blanche, a program like Carte Blanche, they are scripted. They are paid for by people like the Ruperts, the Oppenheimers, and many others, even behind the scenes. And people like Derek Watts can be manipulated because he's quite a piece of work to do almost anything. So when I spoke to Neil in KwaZulu-Natal, I spoke to him for about an hour and explained to him how regulated a nuclear power station is. Extremely regulated. How peers from overseas come to the nuclear power station and actually do peer reviews from the US, from France, from Germany, from all over the world, Canada, it doesn't matter where. Peers come to Koeberg. They inspect the plant and they give a review of how Koeberg is doing. It's called a WANO peer review, a World Association for Nuclear Operators. And Koeberg is part of WANO and part of IMPO, the International Nuclear Plant Operators. Now, those organizations far supersede what the NNR can ever be capable of. So I've always said the NNR doesn't have the ability that Koeberg and Eskom has created at the Koeberg nuclear site to actually keep the public safe. The design of the plant is inherently safe. It's not Fukushima. It's not Chernobyl. I don't even know why plants like that exist or why they even run those archaic things or why they ever did. The design, such as Kuberg around the world, has run safely for a very long time. They learned from the mistakes of all the other plants back in the day and came up with stunning designs. A Westinghouse design, it's an American design, and that plant is very safe. Yes, you can get a core melt under very extreme conditions, but it'll stay in a power station. It's not going to affect the public. It's inside a huge containment building. So the design is inherently safe. And now you have people that know nothing about the power station making public statements. It's absolutely pathetic and annoying. So with regards to Eskom, with Kuberg Unit 2 being down now for outage, a maintenance outage, not a life extension outage because permission hasn't been given for it. But they are doing activities that they can use to apply for the life extension because they have to. They have to replace the steam generators. Unit 1 at the moment is at reduced power. And, you know, Eskom puts out these notifications. And we still don't have load shedding all over the country. So Eskom has managed to get many of the Transvaal stations up and running, get some of their reserves back in the dams, as well as at the gas turbine stations. So let's see how it goes. The country is not consuming that much power. So the first thing I need to tell you is the one saving grace for Eskom up until now has been the fact that we've gone from 36,000 megawatts peaks to 25,000 megawatts peaks. We've actually reduced our peak loads by a lot. And it shows you how our industry has shrunk. And remember, the people that want to create this new order amongst us, they are hell-bent on removing all factories out of the system. So in future, the power demand will be even less. All you will have are these smart cities or smart complex systems, and industry will not exist anymore. And like Klaus Schwab said, and you need to understand what this idiot is saying, okay? That you will have nothing, you will own nothing, and you will be happy. He's declaring what you will be in future because he serves on the committee of 300. He's there. He sits in those meetings where they make decisions. And because they are above all sovereignty and all governments, and because he knows there's no democracy anywhere in the world, he will make statements like that. The guy's a psychopath. Okay. So here in South Africa, I don't care about the fact that he's a psychopath. We have enough people in this country to scoop anyone's gat. I don't care who they are. If you train the people on the ground to be empowered citizens, no military in the world can do anything to you because you will annihilate them without weapons. Okay. You can't melt steel with solar. Absolutely, Ruth. You know, when it comes to industry, people have no idea what they're wishing for. They need to be very careful. We need a solid electricity grid. To have a solid electricity grid, you need a reliable, stable baseload distributed across the country to let industry flourish. Else, you will shut it down. Now, that is what happened. You put propellers up everywhere and you destabilize any grid. And this is happening across the world right now. It's destroying power grids. It's destroying many countries to the point where the grids will collapse. And this is one of the plans that are out there. Yes, Russell Brand. You enjoy this video. Russell Brand, I like the way he does things because he's just, he declares himself as just left. And he asks all the right questions, says all the right things. I don't think he has a solution. However, his commentary is important. I think he plays a very vital role. He has a large group of lovely, wonderful, as he calls them, people watching him, 4.7 million. So this channel 00 Days is puny compared to what is out there in the world. So it's important that there are people like Russell Brand that asks these important questions, has these important interviews. And I think he's a very important influence in the YouTube space right now. Yes, Arno, yes, nuclear is just, I won't call it sustainable. If you actually look at the power source, how little fuel it requires, and the footprint, there's nothing that comes close to nuclear, never will. You know, we would have to move to a new reality dimension to have something else available. So, yeah, nuclear it is. Just remember that fusion will be used as the saving power industry of the New World Order, the One World Government. Fusion energy will be the solution once all these grids around the world start collapsing and people are begging for a miracle. And so there will be many miracles happening that have been prepared a long time ago, and people have been fooled for so long. And I'm starting to watch different influencers in the country. I haven't done that before. So when I watch these people now, I just see how short of knowledge they are. I mean, basic knowledge. And they might have their own perspective on things. They might have their own beliefs, and I respect all that. But when it comes from a bad knowledge base, that is sad, because if they had proper knowledge, they would probably change their perspectives. And it would be interesting to see once more knowledge comes to the fore, and people like that, many of these influencers, especially in South Africa, start seeing evidence for the things I speak of, how they will change. It's going to be interesting to see, because then you will see that either they were misguided or they were always bad from the beginning. They were always had evil intent. And hopefully, I don't believe that most people are evil. I think that most people are misguided. And often being misguided is beneficial financially. So, yeah. Gene says he can be so weird, but top of the game news-wise. He talks sense. Hate his clothes. Gene, that is the thing. He has the freedom to say what he wants, and people can choose to listen to him or not. And the beauty about him is he wants freedom and success for humanity. And he definitely comes from a place of love. And once you come from a place of love, people resonate with that. And, on this channel, I've been very hard in the past to shake people up and get a critical mass of people that can start changing things. And that's not how I am. I was the meekest, most withdrawn person if you met me when I was a young boy. So anyone that knew me when I was a young child, I was an introvert. I was not assertive. I was quiet. I had a couple of friends, and that was it. So I was fairly normal. I played sports and all of those things, but I knew that most people around me were financially better off than I was, especially when you're in a school such as Paul Boys. And so I was just quiet there, trying to do the best that I can and cope and survive. And one thing that I haven't told most people about, that I was really good at, the best in the school, was marbles. I will go to school with 2 or 3 marbles and go home with bags full of marbles. So I was really good at that. So the things that I could become good at, I would practice and practice and practice until I was the best. Like in the Air Force, I practiced until I could rip that R5 apart and put it back together in record time. Many of the things I broke records because I focused so much on what I was doing that I always had success. And so I learned that discipline early on. And doing the Double O Days tour was an extreme form of discipline, because it's not just me. My wife and my kids are with me. 4 kids traveling all the time, going from meeting to meeting to meeting. It takes a lot of discipline to leave endless possibilities, financial possibilities behind, and do something for the country. The day I realized that I have to do this for my own kids, it was an easy choice to actually make. Marilyn, you're also very good at marbles. That's awesome. Oh, that's really awesome. You could make boys cry by winning their prize marbles. That is so awesome. No, I didn't lose my marbles. No, I can't fly. No, I don't have a license. I have flown. I actually flew with a good friend of mine, Rory Rutenberg. He took me on a flight to Aurora, and it's the only time that I actually experienced flying. And let me tell you something, I respect pilots. You know, to be able to learn to operate everything is easy. I mean, I've operated something far more complex. A nuclear power plant control room. There isn't anything more complex on this planet at this stage, except maybe someone's brain. So I've been at the highest level of technology, operated and functioned there successfully. So flying a plane, there's many things you have to consider, and the controls in this tiny little Mosquito that we were flying in. It was a little Cessna, I think. It was tiny. It was a two-seater. I couldn't believe how much you have to move the controls all the time to actually remain steady. And that was a steep learning curve for me. And I still have a photo of myself flying in that plane. And that was a special moment. I really enjoyed that. And, you know, Rory is really an awesome person. He had a house in Aurora. We flew to Aurora, landed there, and then he took all the local ladies there that cleared the landing field for him. He took them for a spin in the plane and came back to land. It's just the type of person that he was. When we flew back, we landed at just outside of Durbanville at the airport there, where they want to develop a new smart airport. Rob Hershoff and his cronies. And don't think that these people are there to save you. Okay, these people are there to take your freedom away completely. Don't be fooled. These are the real enemies of freedom. And if you don't understand what's coming out of their mouths, you don't understand what's on this channel yet. Make an effort. Go and watch the Moments in Time and Question Everything series so that you can understand what this channel is about. And the one thing I want to make clear now is that my knowledge and understanding is mine. I don't get it from anyone else. And that is what's made this channel unique. So I think what I need to do is revisit some of the older content, speak about it in live streams especially, so people can ask questions, and then go into a bit more detail, because I think that because we've had so many new subscribers that have not been exposed to that content, and I haven't revisited it, most of them aren't going to go back and watch those old videos. I do ask you to watch the Moments in Time and Question Everything series, because I'm not going to redo those. I will add to those, and when the time is right. And I've seen that the Moments in Time and Question Everything series, those videos have started to increase in views, but some people will just watch the first one and not watch the rest. So you can see the first one is 18,000 views, and then it drops down to 10, 8, whatever. And all of the content is important. So I said when everything is above 10,000 views, I'll move on. And we're getting there soon. Hopefully we'll get there. So the Question Everything series, I want people, at least 10,000 people, to have viewed the entire series before we move on. It's important that we have that many people that have the knowledge of what I put out there. It is that important. Moments in Time is vital that you get that knowledge. The entire Moments in Time series, go and watch those videos. And then I have created a new playlist for the important live streams. This is not one of them, because this is a question and answer session where I cover specific topics. Go and watch those. All of those were limited initially when they went out. And the first one that I did on Bill Gates, a very important one, got way over 20,000 views. It's got over 25,000 views now. It should have a lot more than that. The one that I did on the powers that are turning, that has got over 35,000 views now. And that video got those views while being restricted. So it's obvious that people are interested in the people, the families controlling South Africa. And I think I need to spend a bit more time on that. I spend a lot of time on that in my Double O Days meetings to give you the details of the Ruperts, the Oppenheimers, Visser and Becker, to understand how Tencent, Naspers, how they work together, how Naspers was formed by the Broederbond to make sure that the Nationale Pers, the national press, is controlled completely. So anything that comes out of that, like News 24 and all the other subdivisions, they are all controlled and scripted. And Carte Blanche, for instance, programs like that, many other programs out there are controlled. And it's interesting how certain programs pop up the moment child sexual offenses are involved. And I'm not going to divulge anything on that. But it's important to understand that the mainstream media is controlled. It's almost like controlled opposition, like the DA and the EFF. They are controlled opposition. We don't have opposition politics. If we had opposition politics, then you would very quickly see what is actually going on in the ruling party. But that's not what's happening. It's just one big fat blame game. It's an absolute farce. And now Herman Mashaba is going down the same road. He's no different to the others. And I'm sure many people are very disappointed by this and should be. And he should be kicked under the butt and kicked out of any political influence. He doesn't deserve to be there. He doesn't deserve to be a politician. And I'll openly state that now, based on what he's done, what I've learned. The man was a complete waste of time for anyone that put any efforts into what he did. And it should have never been about him. You see, it needs to be about people. And if it's not about people, it's a waste of your time. We need to change the system. We need to change our electoral system. We have to directly elect our leaders so we can hold them accountable. We need to put rules and regulations in place to stop them from being funded from large corporations, so that they actually have to go to their constituents and raise the funds so that they can have credibility in the eyes of their constituents. And then you have the ability to remove them. It's a much better system. Like I said earlier, democracy is not a perfect system, but currently we don't even have that. So we first need to prove democracy, and we can put a democratic system together that can work for the country, from where we can evolve to something even better. Who knows what the future holds? And it's very important that individuals like us can become citizens first, because right now we are subjects. I don't care if you want to live in a smart city, but you shouldn't be forced to live there. It shouldn't be your only option. You shouldn't be forced to only farm with pigs, or only farm with horses, or only plant millies, or only plant sugarcane. You should have the freedom to farm whatever you want. Agenda 2030 is not going to allow that. Go and read the agenda so that you can understand. Okay. Okay, David Icke. What do you want to know about? What about David Icke? Gitmo is busy. Risk Candy? Absolutely not. There's nothing happening at Gitmo. So there isn't a whole bunch of people that have been arrested or anything like that. It's all rubbish. You know, people that give themselves self-appointed titles, it's all rubbish, because they have no support for those titles. If they did, they would already be ruling the world, and I wouldn't support that. So really, the Q and Anon thing has become a complete and utter farce. I don't know why people fall for trash like that. Really. You know, the amount of times that they've said that Donald Trump was going to be in charge of the US again, and this was going to happen, and that was going to happen. I'm so sick of it already. You know, it's not fair on Donald Trump that they are putting words in his mouth, things he never said. They're using his name in vain, and they need to stop it. So, David Icke, what about David Icke? David Icke was on a pluck on a mountain when he got visions of grandeur, believed he was connected to a higher source when he was just hallucinating. And in the members chat that I'll be having on Thursday, that is the topic that I will be addressing. How people get into a state where they believe they're in an alternate reality. It's very important for you to understand how your mind can fool you and how it's been programmed to do that. And it's level 4 understanding, and we are starting to hit level 4 understanding now at the beginning of the tunnel, so people can start doing proper research. Just start doing proper research and at least get out of the rabbit hole that they're falling into right now, not knowing when they're going to hit the ground in total darkness. It's not a nice way to live. So David Icke, I will ask you a couple of questions. What suggestions has David Icke made to save the world from everything that he's explained? What has he led that has come to fruition? Born fruit made a difference. And if he has done anything like that, has it made you more free? If the answer to those things are no, then he's a subversion. It's as simple as that. Controlled subversion. Even if he controls it himself. And I will say that of anybody that says they're going to save you, this is what's actually happening in the world, but they do nothing about it. I say the path to freedom is more important than the belief in freedom. What path to freedom has David Icke given you? And that's the end of it. And he's talking about lizards and all sorts of other freaking nonsense. I get so sick and tired of it. I'm not a lizard, okay? You can pull my face. Frita says, I also follow David Icke 2 years now. Would also appreciate your perspective. There's his son, also same stuff. Well, I don't know his son. He talks a lot of crap. I mean, yes, like absolute nonsense. You know, it's really annoying because when he might speak things that sound close to the truth. On this channel, if you go to Moments in Time and question everything, you'll get the reality, okay? And you'll be able to tie it to real events, not some fictitious twat. The Queen is not a freaking lizard. She's not running around in a lizard skin at night or anything like that, okay? She's still there. She's still alive. When she dies, it'll be announced. They've already planned everything around that. And no, Prince Andrew is not going to be arrested. Although he's been stripped of all his titles, he's actually a member of the Committee of 300. He will only be arrested if the committee kicks him out. Okay. If he is arrested, you know that the committee has kicked him out. And it'll be because the Queen made that decision. So I haven't met David Icke. I haven't spoken to him at all. My father read one of his books and said this guy's nuts. And I agree with my dad. Absolutely crazy. I don't know what Trump will be in future. I wish him luck in whatever he tries. Billy says he gives conspiracy theorists a bad name. Well, he admits that he's a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I believe that there are many conspiracies. I'm not going to theorize on conspiracies. I don't think I have time for that. Derek, your message there was actually held for review, but I will make it. I made it available. Everyone should see that. Kathy says, I was a total recluse when I was young. I'm still an introvert. Don't mess with my kids and grandkids' future, as then I get very haragat. I refuse to sit back and shut up, own nothing and be happy. Yeah, absolutely, Kathy. I think a lot of people have come to that point now. You know, I know so many people that are supporting what all of us are doing because it's a combined effort. And those of you that have been to the meetings that I speak of, where we actually do hands-on things on the ground, you understand what this is about. And everyone is welcome to become a part of the plan, really. I would really encourage you to join. And if there's any admins that can give links or advice, please do so. David did say stop complying. I don't know what other useful info he put out there. Absolutely spot on, Graham. Stop complying. Yes, like. Risk Candy, you watch many channels with years of experience. Well, I have real experience on the ground. I can only give you my real life experience. So I use YouTube as a platform to get to people that I've actually met in real life. Many people. I would like to meet all of you that are interested in actually having more information, because face to face, I can share a lot more with you. A country cannot create a sun, Ilka. So what China has done is they just created plasma in the middle of a fusion reactor. That plasma doesn't touch sides because it's that hot. It's hotter than the center of the sun. So this is media talking crap again. It's so flippin' annoying. They created no sun. Oh, that thing that they say is going up into the sky, it's a freaking rocket, man. And you watched that video and you fell for it. It's a shame. There's a rocket being fired. Evelyn, hi Des, what are your thoughts on Jordan Peterson? Jordan Peterson is someone that I absolutely trust. It's someone that you can learn a lot from, and I would encourage you to listen to what he has to say. I think Jordan has a very important role to play, and I'm only telling you this because you're asking me. I don't normally speak about other people. Jordan Peterson has been through a lot. Many of the things my dad went through, and yeah, I don't think he has political answers. He does show a lot of the problems without talking rubbish. He doesn't talk rubbish ever. I've never heard him talk rubbish. That's nice. That's really nice. Derek David and Sasha Stone and all the Lightworkers gang are funded by the absolutely. I don't know if David is funded by anyone, Derek. They don't need to fund him. He will do it all for free. Like I've said before, anyone that is misguided is subversive without them even knowing. And it's not, it is your fault. It's absolutely your fault that you haven't done enough research. So do more research. I've been wrong in the past a lot. I joined the freaking DA. I campaigned for them. I donated cash to them. I donated other funds to them. I donated sound and lighting equipment and staging to them. I did many things that I can look back on and say, hoe was jy so stupid geweest? So people, we are on this earth to make mistakes, learn from them and improve. If you confess your mistakes, like I have done a lot, it helps because people are very forgiving and understanding. Now, it was a very intense school. I learned a lot. I had access to people in the brain trust of the DA and had meetings with them. I had meetings with the current mayor of Cape Town and with Helen Ziller directly, one-on-one. And a lot of these people might think that they are really helping us. And you're going to see Jordan Lewis doing things that other mayors have never done. Make no mistake. And yet he might be completely swallowed up by the New World Order plans and not even know it or understand it or believe that we are misguided and what he is doing is true enlightenment. In which case, I can't help the oak. Yeah. Risk Candy, I think you've been watching too much crap. I'm very much aware of deep underground military bases. The channels that you follow, they are putting out crap. Let me just put it straight. You cannot, okay, go and put hundreds of thousands of children, even tens of thousands of children underground in freaking tunnels. Ventilate those tunnels. Give the people a sewage plant where they can go to the flippant toilet. Ventilate them with enough air. Feed them and everything else together. And keep them cool. People, come on. You can do all of that above ground. Why must you do it underground? It's all rubbish. Don't fall for this twat. Okay. Risk Candy, it's not happening in underground tunnels. It's happening above ground. It doesn't have to be in a tunnel. Bye-bye, Risk Candy. You can really leave because you're talking utter crap. Okay. I think we've gone past our time and useless idiots now absolutely, yeah, just annoy. Troll alert, your troll is gone forever. Thanks, Antoinette, for coming on. Jean. Yeah, Holly. Yeah, troll alert. Troll is gone. Bye-bye. You know, I don't play nice with these people. I ban them off commenting from the channel forever. That's what I do. I don't have time to waste time or I have to waste my breath on someone like that. You know, when I did the videos on the earthquakes in Cape Town, I was told that deep underground military bases were being blown up at sea. Yeah, under the freaking ocean, people. The people are nuts that believe this rubbish. Thanks so much for coming and joining me. We still have about 350 people watching. You've stayed with me throughout this another hour and 45 minutes. Graham, I've been wrong, but I'm prepare to admit that and move on. Absolutely. You know, I've been wrong about many things, and you have to rectify. The first thing that helps is to confess. Say, ek was verkeerd, ouens. I was wrong. I made a mistake. I didn't see everything, but when I did see the mistake, I changed. And this is, many people can do that. I always leave that gap. I leave that gap for Cyril Ramaphosa. I leave that gap for Musi Memani, for Herman Mashaba. All of them can change if they want to. I will always leave that gap. And it's important. We need everyone in this fight. We're going to need every South African. And things might happen to Cyril or to Musi Memani or to Herman Mashaba. Things might happen to them, and they'll see that all these people funding you all of a sudden want favors from you. And when you start growing a conscience, it might be in your old age, just when you're on your deathbed, you might actually decide, flip, I was wrong. Maybe I should change the way I think. Okay, firstly, water. It's not just reactor water that appear to be blue. The water appears blue without the reactor there. So the light that you see around the fuel is Cherenkov light. That's what it's called. It's as particles, due to the radioactivity, slows down in the water. You actually see that light. And it's an incredible phenomenon. So go read up on Cherenkov light. And it's beautiful to see. I mean, I did fuel handling. I worked at the fuel pool many times. I've climbed on top of the reactor head many times to open the vent valve on top of it. I've done everything there is to be to be done in the nuclear industry, because you start at the bottom and you work your way up to the top. Yeah, it was an incredible learning curve during those years. I was taught so much. I went on so many courses. Eskom is brilliant at educating their staff. It's probably the best country in South Africa when it comes to educating your staff. So it's like a huge learning school. When you go there, there's continuous learning happening, especially at Coburg, and it's really awesome. Bev says, I've been so wrong about so much, but trying now to learn, change my mindset and accept new things. We have to open our mind. That's why I say, take in as much information as you can. Don't see it as fact. Just take in the information. If you see videos on underground dumps, as they call it, deep underground military bases, I know where all the underground places are in South Africa. In my Question Everything series, every place that is secret in this country is on that thumbnail. Every single one. Good night, everyone. Into the rabbit hole, then out again. Yes. T-Man, many of us used to believe in the same things Risk Candy believes in. She's late to the party and will later learn that those things don't even matter and often wrong. Absolutely, T-Man. You know, it's fine to have the information and know that there's people that's putting out this content. They are trying to distract and subvert. And unfortunately, those people were all part of a QAnon. And you know, Anon has done awesome work in the past on their own until Q came into it, which is a complete subversion. In fact, people in South Africa were part of Q. And yeah, when you suck it by things like that and you don't know how to do the proper research and you just believe blindly, like when you watch Carte Blanche and you believe it blindly, you're going to get burnt. Because they talk so much utter rubbish because it's scripted. You know, the front page articles in the newspaper, I know it's manipulated because intelligence used to manipulate it back in the day, all the time. You cannot trust the mainstream media. You cannot trust a lot of the social media. So that's why I tell people, don't even believe what I say. Go and do more research. You might walk away from me and decide, Desmond, you're talking utter rubbish. I believe this other research. You will eventually come back. And, you know, put your pride in your pocket. We have a fight to fight. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got to do with you, your family, your community, and your possibilities. So, yeah, these distractions, they take a lot of time and effort out of people. Yeah, it is bedtime overdue, everyone. You must have a good sleep. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, Question Everything, Marilyn, even myself. Very, very important. And we're going to win this one person at a time. A lot of people ask me, Desmond, how are we going to get this right? And I always tell them, one person at a time. And what more can you do? So you don't go to leaders of organizations and tell them, or when leaders approach you and say, I can bring 500,000 so-and-so to you. I have so many people under my control. That person is nuts. I go to individuals and I speak to individuals. I don't speak to organizations. And people that I support, I make very specific what it is that I do support. I will also make very specific what I do not support. So I am very meticulous in how and when I support things and why I support them. And it might not be clear to everyone because many people understand things so differently. If you see the messages I receive all the time. But thanks all for coming on. If there's any last question, I'll quickly answer it. Elaine says, yes, it can happen across the road from you and you won't even see it. Absolutely. Yeah, Luna has Naspers ties. Absolutely. Johanna, good night. Good night, Dennis. Who eet jy olifant? Yeah, good night, everyone. Absolutely, Dennis. Luna isn't corrupt. It's registered with everything and is making very rich people richer. So Luna is completely above board with regards to our laws. Like I said in my live stream last time, you should not, if you don't know how to trade, you shouldn't touch that stuff, people, please. Thanks, everyone. You must have a good night. I'm not sure who knows about the bots. Oh, the bots on Luno. Yeah, they do know. You can't control that. Not even they can. Those bots are horrific. They can change the market like that in an instant. Good night, everyone. Billy says love to everyone. The extended family, we need to spread the love. Absolutely. Love is what's going to make all the difference. And all the evil in the world cannot overcome the love that we feel for this country and the people. All the people of all diversities, all religions, shapes and sizes. Hopefully the sizes, shapes and sizes will become more streamlined and fit. I ask that people become fit, please. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining me. And this was really great. Yeah, lots of air traffic, Marsha. True. So anyone, remember, if you see any UN vehicles anywhere, email me immediately. Okay. When it happens, where it was. It's important that we get that information. Okay. Good night, all. Yes, Unger's absolutely right. Bill did not develop Microsoft Windows, was done by the FBI. Sleep well, all. Yeah, photos of any military vehicles or any military equipment of the United Nations, even anything that has got UN written on it, whether it's a white or black vehicle, it could be a white or black helicopter or anything similar. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Good night. Ending the stream now.